YouTube, what is good? It's your boy Q from Next Level Reefing, and I'm back with another video. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you for all the love and support. I sure do appreciate it. And with that being said, make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash the notification bell so you can be notified of every video that I drop, which is every single Friday. All right, so let's dive into it. So in today's episode of the Drain Tank Build series, I'm going to give you guys some updates of what's currently going on with the build, and we're also going to talk about tank aggression. Now, those of you that have been following the build thus far, you already know what happened with last week's video. And those of you that are seeing this video and me for the first time, what's good? I appreciate y'all. Go ahead and do me a favor and hit that subscription and that notification bell so you can be notified of all the updates that I do, which again is every single Friday. And I also did you guys a favor and added a playlist for you guys that has all the episode series from 1 up until this point. So you can either watch this video and once you finish, go ahead and hit that playlist, or you can stop this video, go ahead and get caught up with the episode 1 through 10, and then come right back to this video. Whichever floats your boat. No pun intended. So, last week's video was a very sad video. We had to say goodbye to magnificent foxface and orange shoulder tank. Now with the orange shoulder, I kind of unfortunately saw this coming. You guys already know who's the bully of the tank, which is the blue tang. And once I put the orange tang in the tank, it immediately started smacking the crap out of orange tang. I'll get into how I solved that problem later. Now, with Mr. Foxface, that I tried everything I could to replace him. I looked at my local fish stores at first. They didn't have them. They said they couldn't get them for a while because they're still slowly but surely getting shipments in. I tried looking online, seeing if any of those would have them. And of course, even they had the same thing of being out of stock. I basically just gave up on looking for the guy because I figured, nobody's going to have it. So I'll just wait until later on in the summer and see if somebody will come up with one. So last week I had to take a trip to my hometown, Fayetteville, North Carolina. And while I was there, I ran into one of my good friends that I haven't seen in a while. In fact, I haven't seen him since my wedding. So we were catching up and I was telling him about, I got back into the hobby of the reef keeping and showed him pictures of my tank. And he was telling me about, his endeavors about creating stuff in his backyard with the pond and everything. And then he went to tell me where he got his fish from. And it was quite interesting because I remember this fish shop as a kid and it was called Pet Shop. That's it, just Pet Shop. And I remember going to this spot as an adult, and that's probably why I forgot about this place because it wasn't a very good experience. So let me explain. So as a kid, I remember when you walk in, it was super bright and they had like this bridge that you crossed over, and also underneath the bridge, it was kind of like a pond that had like turtles and all kinds of things under there. And once you crossed over the bridge, on the right side, you had pets. On the left side, you had pets, and then in the back, it had pets as well. So on the right side, they had like, bunnies, gerbils, kittens. And on the left side, it was actually a separate room that had like reptiles and freshwater fish. So they had snakes, lizards, you name it. I stayed away from that side, so I went straight to the back. And at that time, I didn't know what it was. I thought all the fish were the same. I thought it was all freshwater fish, And at that time, we had a little small tank with goldfish that we won at a little fair here in town. Now, as an adult, when I got out the military and came back home, I went there, and when I went in there, It was super dark, super depressing looking. The tanks looked like they weren't upkept, so I thought they were going out of business. So I went in and went right back out. The legend has it, AKA my friend was telling me that the original owner had got sick, so his kids had took over, and it was, I guess, 2 pairs of different kids that were taking over. So the first batch of kids that took over wasn't keeping it up with it. It wasn't following up with the orders and things like that. So it kind of like it was run down. The other set of kids took over and they took more initiative of keeping the conditions of the store and all that good jazz. So I took my friend's word for it. While I was there, I told myself I would take the time to take a trip out there and just to see, you know, what could it hurt, right? So I get there, I go inside, and it still looks a little sad in there, but not as sad, and they actually have more stock this time. So I beeline straight to the back and see what they had. And they had some interesting things. So the first thing I saw was a very small foxface, and this was like the size of a clownfish. Now, this is the first time my eyes have ever witnessed a foxface that small. And the guy at the store even said, like, yeah, they rarely come that size. If it was the fox face that I was looking for, because I'm also looking for the yellow fox face, I would have bought one, but it wasn't that one. It was kind of like the bi-colored fox face. Now, I wish I would have filmed this, but, you know, I was in a time crunch and I just wanted to get in and get out. So I'm just giving you guys a visual. So they also had blonde nasal tangs, purple tangs, outer blues. You know, they had a good stock. And I go around the corner and I'm looking and I'm like, wait a minute, is that Magnificent?
Say what?
And sure enough, one Magnificent fox face was right there staring me in the face. And I was like, oh man, I need to get the owner ASAP and just get that thing, because I don't care how much it is, I need that in my life right now. So I go to the owner and I ask him, hey man, you know, there's a fish that I'm interested in and I'm not from here. You know, I live an hour and some change away, but I want to purchase it and then come right back so I can just go straight to my house and acclimate it. Is it cool if I do that? And at first he was kind of like, we kind of don't do that. And then he goes in and asks me, you know, which fish is it? And I was like, yeah, it's the Magnificent fox face. He was like, He had this confused look on his face for a second, and then he was like, okay, you know, I'll make an exception for you because you're getting this fish. And, you know, story behind this, we actually had this fish for about 3 to 4 months, and I tried to sell the crap out of this thing and nobody would buy it. And now when I look at the fish, this fish was beautiful. Like the colors were popping, like this fish's colors were popping more than my Magnificent fox face. So I guess the owner had like some sort of attachment to him, so that confusion look on his face was kind of like he was excited, but then again, he was kind of like sad because he's had this fish for so long and it was almost like his own pet. But he was glad to, you know, hook me up after I told him my story, how, you know, my Magnificent fox face decided to take a swan dive out of the tank. So, you know, after we talked back and forth, we both decided this Magnificent was here waiting for me. That's why I was here that long. It knew that I was coming back to my hometown, and it was here to rescue me from my sadness.
6 hours later.
So as you guys can see, Magnificent made it home safe and sound. Right now he's being acclimated. As you see, he's a little stressed because of the drive and the trip, but he is doing well. He's eating everything and anything I put in the tank. His personality is also similar to the other fox face, but I want to say that this guy is a little bit more, or I should say less shy as the other one. My first one, it took him about a couple weeks for him to get used to the tank and his tank mates, but this one, you know, it took maybe just overnight. So yeah, I'm definitely happy that I found this guy. That trip was well worth it. So shout out to the pet shop. Thank y'all, and I appreciate y'all. Now with the orange shoulder tang, I actually found him at my local LFS, which was Fantastic Aquariums. And I'm glad I did, but I start to see that they're starting to keep this one in the rotations of keeping him in stock. So that was pretty cool. And the way that this thing looks when it becomes a full adult is amazing. And the price point is just a steal. So anywho,
What?
I try not to make the same mistake twice. So I know with the last orange shoulder tang, when I put him in the tank, I put him in with the lights on, I put him in during the day, and that wasn't really good. I tried to do like feeding the fish so it kind of calmed them down, but that didn't seem to work. Literally, because powder blue smacked the crap out of orange shoulder tang until the death of it. And with this one, I tried to wait like super late at night, you know, fish were fed and full, have the lights off, and it should have been sleeping and all that good jazz, right? So I go to put orange shoulder tang in the main display, and I start seeing like a fish kind of creeping and slowly swimming up like a shark, and lo and behold, you guessed it, powder blue is coming to attack once again. So I see him again, just smacking the crap out of orange shoulder tang once again. So I was like, oh no, you're not gonna sit here and just smack the crap out of this orange tang to the death of this one. Not happening. So I go into the mode of doing research and due diligence, and I saw two things. I saw the first one was that you can put a magazine sheet or a piece of paper of a fish, tape it to the glass, and then, you know, it'll try to take its aggression towards that. Unfortunate thing is I didn't have any paper fish or any type of magazine that had a fish in it, or I didn't feel like looking for one. The next one was the mirror trick. Basically, I have what is called fish tank aggression. Fish tank aggression is usually with fish that have similar body types, or you'll have like a dominant or super aggressive or semi-aggressive fish that's very territorial towards its either entire tank or towards its living area or sleeping area. My powder blue, on the other hand, though, is just a straight up bully. It loves just smacking people across the tank. Between my wife and I, we had a few mirrors around the house, so I was like, okay, I'll just give that a try. That's a little bit easier for me to do. In this clip, I actually put a mirror and I taped it towards the glass. Surprisingly enough, that trick actually worked, but it brought up some other interesting things. So of course the powder blue was like straight up smacking the crap out of the glass, thinking that it was another fish. But the other interesting thing was that powder blue and purple tang was smacking the glass. And I didn't think of the powder blue to be as aggressive, but the good thing is it was only aggressive towards its kind. So I know if I need to introduce another like yellow tang or scopus tang or anything with its same similar body shape, I know that I would have to do that trick before putting in a new tang that looks similar to its body. The other thing was, the whole purpose of me doing this trick was to avoid tank aggression and having the orange shoulder tang get killed off by being smacked to death again. But he decided to want to join the smacking gang. I don't know what happened, but he went onto the side and was like, hey guys, can I join you guys in smacking the glass? Again, the good thing is that it worked. The tank mates are all now one happy family, but I still might take powder blue out of the tank temporarily until I get my dream stock up to par. So I might put him in the sump until I get my other fish in, so that way they will be established and have their own territorial areas for sleeping and things like that, and then put him in last. Between him and probably one other fish, I probably will introduce them in together, so that way it'll balance it out. But we'll see. In the meantime, in between time, I'm definitely taking him out temporarily and putting him in the sump. And there you have it, guys. That is the update on the current events on the Dream Tank build, and also my trials and tribulations of tank aggression. And if you guys have any questions or concerns, be sure to comment below and I'll get right back with you. And as always, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you on the next one.